Hello fabulous ones, welcome back to my channel. I am Marlo Keenan, and if you're new here, welcome to the fabulous family. Today we are going to do a dupe video. I have a potential dupe for the James Charles x Morphe palette. So this is going to be interesting. So if you want to see what I got in store, then continue to watch. But before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Now, let's get into the video. All right, y'all. Let me tell you, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, so you know, boom, about the James Charles x Morphe palette, okay? I have here a dupe, a potential dupe, and I say potential because I don't know how this is going to perform, but I certainly know what it looks like. So this is by Changeable Fantasy. I got it from Amazon. It retails for $15.99. I don't forgot how much this one retails for, but I will list the price of the James Charles Morphe palette price. So open this fantasy one up and look. You can't tell me that that don't look like the James Charles palette, right? But let's review. So let me open up the James Charles palette. Huge. And this is that palette, okay? So let me put this up. If I could do this at the same time. Okay, now much smaller, obviously, but the shades, when I tell you, are remarkably similar. It's crazy. Now, obviously, the James Charles palette is a lot bigger. Now, in comparison, it's small. Now, these shades down here are definitely smaller than the middle shades, but let me do some comparison. These pans are exactly the same as the BH Take Me Back to Brazil palette. And let me just show you. These pans from the Fantasy are exactly the same size pans as these, okay? Outside of the middle row, okay? So just as another comparison, I have a standard size pan, typical shadow. This one is by MAC. This is in saddle. And if I put it up, obviously it's still bigger than this Fantasy palette. And even the bigger pans in the middle that are bigger than these, the MAC one is still bigger. So I just wanted to do that just to compare the size of the actual palette versus the James Charles Morphe palette, because this palette is huge. Like, it is just huge, okay? So without knowing the performance of this palette, if I were just to look at the two, this looks almost just like this one. And without knowing how it performs, I would like to take this one, the smaller palette, when I travel, because it's smaller. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. So what I'm going to do is I am going to see how both of these palettes perform. I'm going to use the same shades on my eye, but different eye. I'm going to use the James Charles palette on my left, and I'm going to use this palette on the right, okay? And I'm going to switch my brushes in between, and I got my little brush cleaner so there will be no transference of color or none of that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to show you which ones I'm using, but I'm going to speed the application up, and then I'm going to give you my full entire commentary after I finish the actual look. Okay, so before we even still get started, I'm only going to do a few swatches just to show you, okay? So let's take this brown here, okay? And this is from the James Charles. Oh, it feels so smooth. Look at that, okay? And then I'm gonna put it right there. And now I'm gonna take the corresponding brown from this Fantasy palette, which is right there. It doesn't feel as smooth as the other one, and it's a totally different undertone. You see that? You see how this one is more richer? So let's go ahead and do that. but it's swatched really well. Okay, so you see how the James Charles is definitely more of a richer brown, and this one is definitely more. Let's do another one. Let's go to the blues. I'm gonna take the James Charles blue right here. Okay, it's like a sky blue in the pan. Very smooth feeling. See that? Swatched beautifully. Now I'm going to take the corresponding one from the Fantasy palette. Swatch that bad boy. Feels good. Very similar. Okay. I feel like the ones that we swatched thus far, the James Charles ones is more pigmented in terms of the color, and this one is definitely lighter, but the tone and the shade is the same, other than this just being a lighter version of this. We'll do one more because we have to do a shimmer to see how that performs. So let's go ahead and take this famous, you know, purple pressed glitter here, or pressed pigment, whatever the hell you want to call it. And there it is right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the corresponding one, and that would be this one right here. My fat fingers covers the whole pan. Okay. Wow. Super similar. Let's do that right there. And then this is the Fantasy one. Okay. Very similar again. The one from the Fantasy one is actually a bit more richer in color, if you could tell on camera, and the James Charles is lighter, but they basically swatch the same. So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this look, okay?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay guys, I am basically finished with these eyes. What do you think? This is the James Charles Morphe palette eye, and this is the Fantasy eye. So I'm gonna go do the rest of my face, the waterline, eyelashes, the whole 9 yards, and I'm gonna come back with my final commentary. You don't want to miss it. I'll be right back. All right, guys, this is the final look, and I'm feeling it, okay? But let's get to these palettes. Oh my God, I'm gonna say up front, first and foremost, this Fantasy palette is a dupe. I don't give a daggone what nobody say. This is a dupe for the James Charles Morphe palette, hands down. Yes, there are slight variances in terms of the colors and the tones, but this is a dupe, okay? Can you guys tell the difference? You guys know which eye I did everything on. You guys know that I did this eye with the James Charles Morphe palette, and you know I did this eye with the Fantasy. Can you tell a difference? Can you tell a difference? Okay, let me just note, I made some notes. Now, the first color eye shade out of the James Charles palette was the shade Code James, okay? And it was this color right here. All right, remember? And the corresponding shade to that one, it just came on a little bit lighter. You know what I'm saying? It pulled a little bit more orange. And I also said it was definitely, and it was just definitely a little bit more to build up. But the James Charles palette with this shade definitely did just blend out easier and smoother. But when I'm saying slightly better, I mean slightly better. And then the next shade that I did was No Beans, which is right here. This is No Beans, and the corresponding shade to this in the Fantasy palette blended out just fine. It was a little bit more, again, difficult to blend into the previous shade, but I'm telling you, it was a slight difference. The James Charles palette, it was a little bit more richer in tone, but it blended out beautifully, okay? And then when I used Cola, which is this blue here in the James Charles, that blended out good. I did have to build up that pigment though. I think maybe it's just because the way this was made, whatever, but it blended out fine. The corresponding shade to the Fantasy, again, it was a little bit lighter, but because I'm layering on colors, I build it up a little bit more, and you really can't tell the difference, okay? And the last shade I used right here, and this is called Hello in the James Charles palette, and the corresponding one in the Fantasy palette, it's the same. Ain't no difference. It's the same. It's just the same. When I applied it on both the eyes, you know, I'm saying it was no difference. It was like, to me, the same shade. This look came out fabulous. I had really little to no problems with this palette. The main difference, again, is that the pants are smaller. What's so convenient about this one versus the James Charles is it's smaller. So if you need to go somewhere on vacation or whatever, this is just easier to pack up in your bag versus the James versus the James Charles palette, okay? And again, the pants are smaller. These pants on the bottom and the pants on the top are exactly the same size as the BH Take Me Back to Brazil palette, if you're familiar with that. And then these middle ones are just slightly larger. I'm telling you, if I had a choice, had I known, okay? And this one retails for $15.99, and the James Charles palette retails for, I gotta look it up, retails for $39. So all I'm saying is $39 or $15.99. I'm just saying. It's right on Amazon. I'll link it down below, okay? If you don't have the James Charles palette, don't even bother with it. I'm just saying, get this palette, okay? Okay, you guys saw it. You saw it firsthand. You guys make up your own decisions, but to me, this is a no-brainer. So, if you enjoyed this video of this dupe, let me know in the comment section if you want me to do more videos like this, you know, comparing products and dupes and all of that jazz. I really did have fun with this, and I really do love the look. I think it came out bomb.com. Okay, all right, now, of course, until my next video, y'all, bye bye now.